Yes, sir. Good morning to all. So, we are going to discuss about the digestive system and respiratory system. Let us take respiratory system at beginning. We already studied some subjects, some essence of the respiratory system in the circulatory system because as I said, all other systems are connected. They are all connected. They are all connected. We can't, but as in allopathic system, they say they want to study it separately, and generally it is difficult for them to coordinate both the system. But here we as a spiritual healer, or you can say homeopaths, we have to take a whole body, complete system, human being as a whole system. So human being as a whole system. So that's what I was telling you. One particular remedy, it's also working fantastic in the circulatory system as well as in the digestive system. Digestion. See, if you have some acidic problem, acidity, we are going to study where from the acid comes, whether it is coming from an external source or our body is secreting the acid. We will see in the next coming videos. So our body produces the acids and the bile system, and see if it is not used properly, how it lead into the different complication we will study. As I already told you, this uh, vast subject is learned by doctors in 5.5 years, almost 4 years, and last 1.5 year they study the pharmacy. See here, what my idea is, they will be able to judge while giving the remedies. They themselves they say, suppose in what are the respiratory system diseases, take from here, from we'll see from here, then uh, uh, air pipes and trachea, pharynx, like that, and lungs and bronchis and alveoli, or like that, or everything we are going to study now. So there you start from the nose to the mouth and air passage and to the lungs and the bronchus. So every system will get disturbed. Every system get disturbed, and that itis, laryngitis, like that. No, every system, every part of the respiratory system get influenced, and we have a remedy for that. In Vibronics is just like very similar to the homeopathy. It works on the law of similars, but we are not depending on the pharmacy. We are producing it by the thought, or you can say thought imprinting machine, or you can say the card machine or a dial machine. Okay, because we'll go in brief. If anything else, suppose in any respiratory system, anything we want to take it separately, you later you can ask me. So we'll arrange. See, practically speaking, we are here for 3 months. But whenever you have any doubt, we'll be keep making the seminars based on our own learning. What we learned, we can share your experience. Like that, we will go in forward. We'll go that also. We'll study that also. What are the results we got, or very obstacles we got? How we can tackle that? So we'll all study one by one in going forward. We'll learn all those things. Now, see, again I start with a wonderful animated uh, videos. With that, we will be able to visualize. Here, mainly for spiritual healers and vibronic healers, we need a visualization. What is there happening within the body? How the respiratory system is getting exchanged. I mean, oxygen and the carbon dioxide, how they are getting exchanged within the lungs, and what are there in the lung? Why the respiration is at all required? Why we need to breathe? Because when our every body cell of our body needs oxygen and nutrients that is supplied by the circulation, and while doing that we get again the what you call raw material, or you can say the left out material which is not utilized by our body to be excreted in the respiratory system comes through the lungs. So, like I know when we get in the heart is a pump, okay, it takes all from all the we have studied yesterday, it takes all the non deoxygenated blood and takes into heart, then sends to the lungs. Then lungs, there is an exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen. It becomes oxygenated, comes to the heart again. Again, that is pumped into our whole system. Because, and every cell in our body needs oxygen and nutrition. And we have studied yesterday, if due to any reason or sclerotic changes or the or any other problem, if that circulation is not going to the further part of our body, it will result into a lack of circulation. We studied if arterial lack of circulation will happen, which type of wound it will come, and if a venous system is not proper, or you can say taking back to the heart if it is not proper because of wall damage and all, how that varicose ulcer will result. And even we've seen, so likewise, heart and lungs are coupled each other. So now we'll study how it is helping, and even we are going into little deeper level. So in alveoli, it's the smallest where that gas exchange is happening. I've already taken those videos. We'll enjoy that videos one by one. There are some I'm interested in. I was teaching for kids from first standard to fourth standard of after my retirement from the Air Force. I joined Air Force in when I was 17 and a half, and I retired when I was in 37 and a half. Then I was teaching, so I am very much interested in the cartoonized the pictures. So because everyone loves, cartoon, everyone loves, including the children and even we also. So now we'll see one by one the respiratory system, how it works and all. So any doubts, or you can say you have specific things in your mind, or any person or you are dealing with or having, or you are thinking about them. So definitely you can come and we will discuss this in our other time on offline. Okay, offline, and we'll all together, because we are only few people, including myself. We are only 17 people here. So even as I told you, myself and my son are also part of this training. So we will enjoy together. We learn together. Okay. Okay. Getting the
Take a
sun
deep
now.
breath and let it out. Isn't it remarkable? The human respiratory system, the system that lets us do that, an exchange of gases. Now, don't confuse the respiratory system with cellular respiration. If you watched our cellular respiration video, you learned about why our cells need oxygen. Your cells need oxygen to make ATP, an energy currency, and the gas byproduct produced is carbon dioxide, which the body must remove. This is part of the equation in aerobic cellular respiration. done by your cells. But your respiratory system, which takes in the oxygen and expels the carbon dioxide, working closely with the circulatory system and other systems to do so, is how we get that oxygen into the human body in the first place. And that oxygen will be needed for cellular respiration. So you inhale, air passes through your nasal cavity, the air is warmed, humidified, and filtered. This involves mucus and hairs, nasal hairs that you can see, and then microscopic cilia, which are similar to microscopic hair-like structures. Now, we come to the pharynx, a junction, if you will, of both food and air. From the pharynx, we go through the larynx, often called the voice box, then the trachea. By the way, food should be traveling down the esophagus, not the trachea. We mentioned in our digestive system video that an epiglottis keeps food from going down the trachea. The trachea is a pretty fascinating cylinder tube with rings of cartilage. That cartilage helps support the trachea and keep it open for air to travel through. The trachea goes down, down, down to the primary bronchi. One on each side as this branches to the lungs. Just to mention a bit about the lungs, there are two. Each lung has sections called lobes, 3 lobes on the right and 2 on the left. There's a cardiac notch on the left lung side where it's a little indentation to give the heart some room. The left lung is generally smaller than the right. Now, our main focus is going to be what's happening inside the lungs, so let's continue to go through the primary bronchi. Primary bronchi divide into secondary bronchi, then tertiary bronchi, and then smaller bronchioles. And it kind of looks like an upside-down tree. I like trees. So a general recap of where we've gone. Nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx, trachea, primary bronchi, secondary bronchi, tertiary bronchi, bronchioles. Diameter is getting smaller as you go through these different areas. Beyond the terminal bronchioles, there will be branching into respiratory bronchioles and then on to alveolar ducts. Each alveolar duct is surrounded by alveolar sacs. Alveolar sacs look a lot like a bunch of grapes. I'm not the only one to think that. Each of these alveolar sacs contain alveoli, and this is where the gas exchange will actually occur. That's because these alveoli are made of thin-walled cells. They have lots of surface area and they have direct contact with capillaries. We mentioned that other body systems work closely together. The circulatory system works closely with the respiratory system here. Red blood cells in the capillaries can pick up oxygen that was inhaled to deliver it throughout the body and also bring carbon dioxide, a waste gas that needs to be removed, so that it can be exhaled. Besides the circulatory system, there are other body systems working with this respiratory system. The skeletal system includes the ribs that protect the lungs like a cage around them. But muscles of the muscular system are involved too. Muscles involved in respiration include muscles between your ribs, called intercostal muscles. It includes a major muscle under your lungs, called the diaphragm. It includes abdominal wall muscles. All of these are part of the muscular system, and they are involved with helping to expand or contract the thoracic cavity. While you can take voluntary control of your breathing, you'll notice that most of the time your breathing is involuntary. That is, you aren't consciously controlling it. The nervous system regulates this, and here's something pretty cool. It uses pH to do so. So the pH scale is based on hydrogen ion concentration, H+. Acidic substances, shown here as lower numbers on this pH scale, have a higher H+ concentration compared to bases, which have a lower H+ concentration. Ultimately, the increase of carbon dioxide concentration in the blood increases the concentration of H+. If you want to learn more about why that happens, fascinating chemistry, check out further reading. So, as the carbon dioxide concentration increases in the blood pH falls slightly lower on the pH scale. It is becoming more acidic. The increasing acidity is detected and sent as signals to the brain. The brain can then control the intercostal muscles, diaphragm, and abdominal muscles in order to increase the rate and depth of breathing. This can restore the blood to a normal blood pH and keep the blood pH stable, around 7.4. Great example of keeping homeostasis. Just think about when you're exercising and how amazing it is to have such a fine-tuned system so your breathing rate and depth can increase as needed. And while we're really trying to give general examples to emphasize that body systems don't work in isolation, keep in mind that there are other systems involved with the respiratory system to explore. Before we go, there are 2 final notes I want to mention. First, we want to remind you that we focused on humans. But obviously, it's not just humans that have gas exchange. Earthworms actually have gas exchange through their skin. How amazing it is to have such a stable, Around 7 example of keeping homeostasis. Just think about when you're exercising and how amazing it is to have such a fine-tuned system so you're breathing.
So this I find very important. So I just want to stop it here and little bit think about it. When we are studying about the respiratory system, we also should know why this respiratory system get affected. What are the other system involved to have a correct respiratory system is shown in these cycles. I mean this diagram. This is a circulatory system. You know it again skeletal system by the ribs and the cages. There we are expanding and contracting. For that reason, for the respiratory system that is important. And nervous, when you get tense, our respiratory system becomes fast. And muscular system, this a whole the body is upper chest is made up of the muscular system only. So we need to have an easy breath. These all systems are necessary. Suppose we have to, when we are addressing this, we should also consider these two. For example, I was just telling yesterday that if anyone coming breathlessness to my first floor, then what I give, because respiratory system and circulation OM7 for the heart and cardiac and lungs for respiratory system and as well as the circulatory system. If we give like that, then we are going to address that lungs problem 100%. Means you should also think all these. And in homeopathy, so wonderful thing, the one particular remedy will also work on the muscular system like a Bryonia. Bryonia alba is such a wonderful system, remedy which mainly works on the respiratory system and also on the muscular system. So basically, it depend on where it is, where we can use that. So what all the things it covers, I will also share you the materia medica part. Then you can go through a Bryonia works on what all the systems, respiratory system and muscular system, circulatory, how in circulatory, nervous, how this is working. So you can correlate and come to decision and make a remedy through our vibronics.
Rate and depth can increase as needed. Insects can have a tracheal system, which means they have these little openings on their body called spiracles that connect to little tubes inside. It's fascinating to learn about all these different systems for getting oxygen in and carbon dioxide out. Second, understanding how the respiratory system works can help us understand treatments for respiratory illnesses or respiratory problems that may arise. There are many careers that focus specifically on the respiratory system. Two examples include pulmonologist and respiratory therapist. They may be involved in the treatment of respiratory conditions like asthma or emphysema, and an example I'd like to end with, they might be involved in the treatment for premature babies that might not have fully developed lungs. So to expand on this, remember we were talking about the alveoli? We mentioned alveoli have a large surface area, ideal for gases to diffuse. But without something called surfactant inside them, alveoli can be prone to collapse due to the surface tension of water inside the alveoli. Surface tension being a great thing to review in our Properties of Water video. So type 2 alveolar cells make surfactant, a substance that includes phospholipids and proteins. Surfactant interferes with the bonding of water, which contributes to lowering the surface tension, making it easier for alveoli to inflate. But sometimes babies that are premature may not yet have enough surfactant in their lungs. This can make it difficult for the alveoli to inflate properly. It can cause collapse. This can result in respiratory distress syndrome. But now, due to better understanding of this, artificial surfactants can be used to treat premature infants, and it saved the lives of many. Well, that's it for the Amoeba Sisters, and we remind you to stay curious.
We often take a lot of things in our body.
Now, in the respiratory system, basically it is divided into two categories. That is upper respiratory system and lower respiratory system. So, and what are the organ involved in that? What are the uh, parts of our tissues are involved in that? We will study, and every this part you will get inflamed, and that can be treated through our combinations and the remedies. And we'll discuss these select remedies also, because I will send you the PDF. We'll take one by one and we'll see in Vibra homeopathy how we can help those conditions. And it's a very interesting thing. This they are doing very great thing like Khan Academy. So they are very good in animation, and then this one I'm very happy. Most of the things have taken by him.
Body for granted. Like breathing, for example. We're not even aware of it, but we're breathing all the time unconsciously. That
Yeah, let us talk little, because she this she's talking about the breathing. See, the only one system in our whole body, whole human being, human body, that breathing it only one thing we can control by our will, and it goes on, moves on without our will. That means voluntary and involuntary system is our breathing. So it is said in the yogic science that if you control the breathing, then you will start controlling over the other parts which are not in your control. So the breathing exercise, conscious breathing, and soham. You know what is soham? When you take the breathe, it gets so like that. This is a soham. This is a foundation. Soham is the biggest meditation in the our ancient system. We'll again go and
is
see what
made
is
possible
happening.
by your respiratory system. And these are the structures that make up the respiratory system. You have your nostrils, the nasal cavity, the pharynx, larynx, trachea, the two bronchi, the left and the right lungs, and the diaphragm. In the series of videos, we'll focus on the different structures of the respiratory system, their functions, and how they're involved in the breathing mechanism. First, let's start with the upper respiratory system. The upper respiratory system is made up of the nasal cavity, the nostrils, the pharynx, and the larynx. The nostrils are the openings through which we breathe in air. So, air enters the body through the nostrils. From the nostrils, air passes through a passage known as the nasal cavity. So, the nasal cavity is situated directly behind the nostrils, and it is the passage through which air enters the body. Within the nostrils, you have very tiny hair and a layer of mucus. Now, this hair and mucus are very important because they trap the microorganisms, dust, and other particles entering our body through the air. They make sure that these microbes don't enter our body, which could cause a lot of diseases. As the air passes through the nostrils, it is warmed up as it enters the body. From the nasal cavity, air enters the pharynx. The pharynx is like the top part of your throat, situated behind the nasal cavity. The pharynx is a common passageway for both food and air. Because it's a common passageway for both food and air, the pharynx has a structure known as the epiglottis. The epiglottis is a flap-like structure that closes the trachea when we swallow food, so that food doesn't enter the trachea, so that food enters only the esophagus, which is also situated somewhere here. So the epiglottis is very important to prevent food from entering the trachea, because that could cause obstruction or a blockage in your airway that could lead to breathing problems. Below the pharynx, at the end of the pharynx basically, is located the larynx. The larynx is also known as the voice box, because it contains vocal cords, and when the vocal cords vibrate, The muscles attached to the vocal cords, they contract and relax, which causes the vocal cords to vibrate. This produces sound. The vocal cords and the larynx, basically, that is what helps us talk, sing, shout, all the things that we can do with our voice. That is thanks to the larynx or the voice box. Now, from the larynx, air enters the trachea, and the trachea, the bronchi, the lungs, the alveoli that make up the lungs, and the diaphragm, they are part of the lower respiratory system. We'll talk about that in another video. In a previous video, we talked about the upper respiratory system that is made up of the nostrils, the nasal cavity, the pharynx, and the larynx. In today's video, we'll talk about the lower respiratory system, which includes the trachea, the two main bronchi, the left and the right lungs, the alveoli that make up the lungs, and the diaphragm. First, let's start with the trachea. The trachea is a tube, basically, that connects the bottom part of the pharynx, that is the larynx, to the lungs. That's why it's also known as the windpipe, because it is the tube that supplies the lungs with air. The trachea is covered by a ring of cartilage. Now, cartilage is a type of connective tissue like bone, but it is much softer than bone. Now, the trachea at the lungs splits into two, and each of these two branches is known as a bronchus. So, the trachea splits into the right main bronchus and the left main bronchus. Now, mind you, don't get confused between right and left here. The right and left here is from the perspective of this person standing here. So if you're standing facing me, your right main bronchus is to your right and your left main bronchus is to your left. Similarly, your right lung is to your right and your left lung is to your left. The left lung is slightly smaller than the right lung because of the cardiac notch here. This is where the heart is located. That's why the left lung has fewer lobes than the right lung as well. Now the lungs are enclosed within the rib cage. The rib cage is made up of ribs, and the middle bone that attaches the ribs is known as the sternum. This bone right here, this is the sternum. Now below the lungs is the diaphragm. The diaphragm is mainly important for breathing purposes. We'll talk more about the diaphragm and how it is involved in breathing in another video. First, let's focus on the bronchi and what it becomes inside the lungs. So this is where the trachea splits into the two bronchi, right? The left and the right main bronchi. After that, what happens to these bronchi? Let's look at that. So within the lungs, the left and the right main bronchi split into even smaller bronchi. So this is the left main bronchi and this is the right main bronchi, right? They have a certain diameter. Now inside the lungs, these left and right main bronchi split into even smaller bronchi known as secondary and tertiary bronchi. The secondary bronchi has a diameter smaller than the main bronchi. The tertiary bronchi has even smaller diameter than the secondary bronchi. So the diameter of the bronchi keeps decreasing as it becomes the secondary and tertiary bronchi. Now finally, the secondary and tertiary bronchi become even smaller tubes known as bronchioles. So each of these tubes that you see here in this image, these are bronchioles. And this entire structure that is made up of the two main bronchi, the secondary bronchi, the tertiary bronchi and the bronchioles, that is known as the bronchial tree, because quite literally this looks like a branch, right? A tree branch, right? That's why it is known as the bronchial tree. The parts of the respiratory system till the bronchi, till the tertiary bronchi make up the conducting zone of the respiratory system. In the conducting zone, no gas exchange takes place. It is at the respiratory zone where gas exchange takes place. And the respiratory zone is made up of the individual bronchioles and the alveoli or the air sacs at the end of each bronchiole. It is at the respiratory zone where gas exchange occurs. Let's take a look at how alveoli look like. So alveoli are the functional units of lungs. It is exactly the location where gas exchange, that is oxygen and carbon dioxide, are exchanged between the air and the blood in the lungs. So if you think of this as the bronchiole, each of the tinier branches that have split from the secondary and tertiary bronchi, each of these bronchiole terminates in air sacs called alveoli. Now these air sacs are like balloons. When air enters the lungs, the air sacs, they expand like how a balloon blows up when you fill it with air. And when this blows up, there is an increase in surface area that makes possible for gas exchange. And the alveoli conveniently are fed with a lot of blood vessels. Each of these alveolus basically has capillaries that facilitate gas exchange. So at the alveoli, oxygen enters the blood from the lungs and carbon dioxide enters the lungs from the blood. If you remember, carbon dioxide is produced as a waste in cellular respiration and it needs to be exhaled out, right? But we also need oxygen to perform this cellular respiration. So when we breathe in air, finally air reaches the alveoli, where from the lungs, from the alveoli, basically oxygen enters the blood. Whatever carbon dioxide has been picked up by the blood from different cells is exchanged here, where it enters the alveoli from the blood. And from the alveoli, the air is again exhaled or expelled out in the reverse direction through the bronchiole, through the bronchi, the main bronchus, the trachea, and the nostrils. So this is the entire mechanism of gas exchange that begins in the nostrils and is ending in the alveoli that make up the lungs. We'll talk more about how we exactly breathe, how the diaphragm is involved in breathing, and how exactly gas exchange takes place in another video.
In this video, we are going to discuss about the gaseous exchange in our body. How the oxygen from our lungs gets into our blood and how the carbon dioxide from the blood gets into our lungs and then it is exhaled out into the atmosphere. And the exchange happens again in the tissue level. How the carbon dioxide produced by the tissues are dumped into the bloodstream, that is in our blood capillaries. Okay, these are the blood capillaries, and how the oxygen from the blood is again taken by the tissues. So in this video, let's discuss what drives these gases to move across membranes in our body. So there are a number of factors that plays crucial role in this gaseous exchange. But in this video, we are going to talk about the most crucial one and the most important one, which is the pressure of the gas. Now, before we move ahead with what pressure does, let me show you something. Here I have two containers, closed containers, one filled with a mixture of different gases and another is empty. So here the pressure is high because there are a number of gases exerting pressure on the walls of the container. But here, since it's completely empty, the pressure here will be zero. Okay, now if I somehow connect the two boxes, or let me say that if I somehow made a passage between these two boxes, what do you think will happen here? Well, I'm sure you can predict already that the gases will start to move into this empty box, right? And why do this happen? Well, because of a very important property of gas, which says that the gases will always move from a region of higher pressure to a region of lower pressure. And the empty box had lower pressure than the other one, right? And this is exactly what drives the gases from one part of our body into some other part, because there is a difference in pressure between the two parts. So if we talk about the cavity of the alveolus and the liquid blood, there must be a difference in pressure between the two, and only because of that, gases can diffuse in or out of the blood. Same in case of tissues and blood. So let me write down what we learned from here. That for any gas to move from one part to the other, there should be a pressure difference, or we also call it the pressure gradient. Okay, now here we discussed about the total pressure of air into different parts of the body. Okay, but when we talk about the gases in human body, we are mostly concerned with oxygen and carbon dioxide and not other gases like nitrogen. Okay, so if we need to calculate how much oxygen moves in and how much carbon dioxide moves out of the body, we need to know their individual pressure, right? So out of the total pressure of the gas that we inhale in, if we calculate only the percentage of pressure exerted by oxygen there, that will be called the partial pressure of oxygen out of the total pressure of the gas. Okay? Same for carbon dioxide as well. So if we calculate the pressure of an individual gas, we call it the partial pressure. So if we consider oxygen, we write it as PO2, partial pressure of oxygen, and PCO2, that is the partial pressure of carbon dioxide. Alright, now let's get into the numbers. What is the actual difference in pressure between alveolus, blood and tissues? Okay? And we will begin with the atmospheric pressure. The atmospheric pressure is 760 millimeter of mercury. Millimeter of mercury is the unit for air pressure, okay? And if we consider this box here, this rectangle here is the total atmospheric pressure. That means 760 millimeter of mercury, okay? Out of this, 21% is oxygen, around 78% is nitrogen, less than 1% here is argon, and very trace amount of other gases. So you can imagine how less carbon dioxide is out there in the atmosphere. Okay, so we will not calculate the amount of carbon dioxide for now, but 21% of 760 is a good number to calculate. Okay, so 21% of 760 will come around 159.6. Let's just write 160 millimeter of mercury. So this is the partial pressure of oxygen out of the total atmospheric pressure, right? So this is PO2, 160 millimeter of mercury. That is the pressure of oxygen we inhale. PO2 that we inhale is 160. Okay, this is what we inhale. So when we inhale, the air moves down our trachea and reach the alveolus, right? So what will be the partial pressure of oxygen in the alveolus? Well, the very first thought to this question would be, hey, it should be the same as it was outside, right? But you know, the pressure inside, if you calculate, it changes. Pressure of oxygen here is just 104 millimeter of mercury. And guess what would be the partial pressure of carbon dioxide? It increases to 40 millimeter of mercury. It was just in trace amount outside, somewhere around 0.3 millimeter mercury. Interesting, right? And the reason behind this changed partial pressure of gases is also very interesting. The change occurs because the air that we inhale in mixes with water vapor. Water vapor. Now, where is this water vapor coming in from? The trachea has moisture in it, right? And our body is somewhere around 37 degrees Celsius. It is hot. It converts the moisture into water vapor. And when the inhaled air mixes with water vapor, the partial pressure of individual gases will change. And that is how we see the changed pressure of oxygen there. Okay? Okay, so we can accept the changed partial pressure of oxygen, right? Water vapor is a cause. But what about carbon dioxide? Water vapor definitely is not contributing to the increased carbon dioxide pressure in the alveolus, right? Well, carbon dioxide here is produced by you and me, the human body itself. The body tissues continuously produce a lot of carbon dioxide, which is released by the blood into the alveolar cavity. And the alveolar cavity, let me remind you, is never empty. Even after a forceful exhalation, there is a good amount of air left. And whatever amount of air left in the alveolus has carbon dioxide in it. And that is how the partial pressure of carbon dioxide in the alveolar cavity is 40. Okay, now for any of these two gases to move into or out from the blood, we need to know the partial pressure of gases in the blood that is coming in from the heart. And it is found that the partial pressure of oxygen in the deoxygenated blood coming from the heart is 40, and for carbon dioxide is 45. So wherever the pressure is more, it will move towards the lower pressure region. So oxygen in the alveolus is 104, in the blood capillaries it is 40. So the oxygen will move from alveolus to blood capillaries, right? PO2. And for carbon dioxide, in the alveolus it is just 40, but in the blood capillaries it is 45. So the carbon dioxide will move in the opposite direction. It will move from the blood capillaries to the alveolus, right? Okay, now as we discussed, the oxygen will move into the blood, carbon dioxide will move out of the blood, and so the deoxygenated blood that came from the heart will now be oxygenated because it has got a fresh dose of oxygen from the alveoli, right? Now what will be the partial pressure of carbon dioxide and oxygen in the oxygenated blood that's moving towards the heart? Well, it is found that the new partial pressure in the blood capillaries now for oxygen and carbon dioxide is 95 and 40 respectively. Well, now you may think, why didn't we get more oxygen into the blood? And why didn't we get rid of the entire carbon dioxide from the blood into the alveoli? Well, this is because apart from the pressure gradient, a number of other factors plays crucial role when it comes to the gas exchange. So one of those factor is the solubility. Carbon dioxide is far more soluble in blood than oxygen. That is the reason we cannot get rid of the entire carbon dioxide. Okay, it was so soluble that it needed more pressure to be pushed out from the blood. On the other hand, oxygen, since it's not as readily soluble as carbon dioxide, more pressure was required to push and dissolve oxygen in.
So here I want to say something, because it's seen practically. See, when from the alveoli, when it is taking into the blood to again heart for pumping into the our system, our oxygen is supposed to be 95. Okay, 95%. So this is what is measured in the oximeter. You know, in the corona, we came across. We never thought about oximeter. It is so much necessary. Even everyone came to know about oximeter during the corona. Here they are covering that oximeter, this 95 is a standard oxygen ratio. But you know, this is what we measure, what was measured in the corona. It was falling down, and we have seen it is even fallen down up to 70, 65 also. And with that, we will be able to assess the severity of the infection in the lungs. You know, mainly all these trachea, bronchioles and bronchi, all are responsible for exchange. But finally, the alveoli, in alveoli only there is exchange of oxygen, carbon dioxide is taking place. So here practically we saw, we can remember here saying that the oxygen level should be 95, then it is normal. When it goes below, we can say that there is a hindrance in the oxygen. So generally suffocation and leads to some other complication.
To our bloodstream. So solubility plays a role here. Okay, and that is how we got the new partial pressure of oxygen in the oxygenated blood as 95, and for carbon dioxide we got 40. Okay, now this freshly oxygenated blood from the heart will move towards all different body parts, towards our body tissues. Now let's see the partial pressure of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the body tissues. Since our body cells are always working, they are producing and utilizing a lot of ATP. In the process, they produce a lot of carbon dioxide, okay, and consume a lot of oxygen. So oxygen becomes scarce in the body tissues. It becomes 40, and carbon dioxide, since it's produced every time, it raises to 45. Now again, the same thing will happen. Gases will start to move towards the low pressure region. So carbon dioxide is higher in the tissues. So carbon dioxide will move out. It will be dumped into the blood, and oxygen from the blood will start to move into the body tissues. Okay. So the blood will lose oxygen and gain carbon dioxide, and therefore the partial pressure of these two gases will finally be 40 and 45 for oxygen and carbon dioxide. Okay, this is the partial pressure of these two gases in the deoxygenated blood that is coming from the tissues towards the heart. This deoxygenated blood again reaches the alveoli through the heart. It gets oxygenated, and the cycle keeps continuing. Okay, so this was about the gaseous exchange inside the body. Now I have made a better and neat diagram for you. I have written the numbers in a better way for you to grasp. So you can pause the video here and look at each step in this diagram and see how the partial pressure gradient helps gases to diffuse in and out of the blood. And if you're stuck anywhere, you can always go back and watch the video. In this video, we are going.
So very interesting. No, you can listen it one or more times, one or two times, even more. Then you will understand how. See, we breathe easily and breathe out, and what all mechanism is happening within our lungs. It's very beautifully explained here. The main, what is the concept of this gaseous exchanges? That is, from air flows from the higher pressure to the lower pressure. This is a main funda. On this funda, everything is working, and you can listen. It's very fantastically explained, and we have practically seen in the corona by using the oximeter. Okay, so ultimately our main goal is to exchange the carbon dioxide with the oxygen. Take oxygen, leave carbon dioxide. With that, because every cell, we saw that every cell has a respiratory system. Every cell will excrete the carbon dioxide, and it requires the oxygen. So that all collected by the capillaries and back to the capillaries and veins, and then it is taken back to the heart. So very fantastic. We'll see if anything more good animations are available. We'll check.
Welcome back, students. We were discussing the topic breathing, bronchitis and all. Next comes the infections, pneumonia, tuberculosis and botulism. Breathing.
Okay, in this one,
Exchange of gases. So now let's.
in this video, we'll be going through the common diseases of the lungs, and we'll see how those things can be covered with the vibronics.
See the disorders in the respiratory system. Now there are various disorders observed in the respiratory system, that is reduced airflow. That means mostly when there is a problem in breathing, or you can say during the inhalation of oxygen and all. So that disorders are mainly called as asthma, emphysema, bronchitis and all. Next comes the infections, pneumonia, tuberculosis and botulism. These are some of the infections which are caused in the respiratory tract, and they are again the disorders observed in the respiratory tract. Lung cancer can be caused in the respiratory tract, which comes under lower respiratory tract, and lung cancer mainly causes, you can say, bacterial cells destroy the lungs by secretion of you can say by division of cancer cells causing multiple. uncontrolled development of cells. Next is congestive heart failure, due to which also the respiratory disorders are observed. Next is the cystic fibrosis, is yet another disorder observed in the respiratory system. Now these are all the breathing disorders. Okay, one breathing disorders is asthma, bronchitis, as I've told you, in which the person cannot breathe properly and a whiz sound is observed during its respiration process. Now, one possible cause for this can be like the weather, or can say it can be heredity also, or side infections, hypersensitivity, allergy. This may all these problems would lead to asthma and bronchitis, also the pollution. Next comes the prevention and treatments. For this, various prevention and treatment are taken, or proper diagnosis should be taken for the respiratory disorders, or you can say various breathing exercises can also be done for the prevention of these disorders in the respiratory tract. So students, in this session we have seen various disorders in the respiratory system.
This animation illustrates the human respiratory system in an unprecedented way. Let's do this fantastic journey together. Not only oxygen, which is important for us, is part of the air we breathe. Water also enters our respiratory system, as well as other gases like krypton, or even radioactive radon. In addition, small and large particles are part of the air, which shouldn't enter our lower respiratory tract. For this reason, the upper airways provide certain protective mechanisms. Large dirt particles or insects are stopped in the nasal cavity by our nasal hair. Small particles are trapped by the nasal mucosa. Ciliated cells are located on the nasal mucosa. These cilia move in a wave-like manner. This allows the cilia to push the nasal mucus produced by the goblet cells towards the pharynx. Consequently, small particles that have been caught by the nasal mucus are swallowed. This process is called mucociliary clearance. Furthermore, the upper airways, such as the nasal and oral cavities, warm and moisten inspired air. During the act of swallowing, the epiglottis, which is connected to the tongue, ensures that no food or liquid can enter the lower respiratory tract. To do this, the epiglottis closes the larynx during swallowing, so that the bolus slides into the esophagus. The trachea, right below the larynx, is surrounded by incomplete rings of hyaline cartilage for reinforcement. Near the heart, the trachea branches into two main bronchi. The main bronchi lead to the left and right lungs. The left lung has only two lobes, upper and lower, whereas the right lung has three lobes. The centrally located heart pumps deoxygenated blood to the lungs through the pulmonary arteries. Oxygenated blood returns to the heart through the pulmonary veins and eventually to all organs. The main bronchi form the trunks for the bronchial tree. Like the branches of a tree, the tubular system of the lungs starts here, into finer and finer branches. The right lung has 3 lobes with 10 lung segments. Each lung segment receives its own air and blood supply. At the ends of the bronchial tree are tiny air sacs called alveoli. It is estimated that humans have 300 to 400 million alveoli. Large branches with cartilage are called bronchi. Thin branches at the end of a bronchial tree are called bronchioles. Instead of cartilage, bronchioles are surrounded by elastic fibers and smooth muscle. The exchange of gases occurs with the help of the alveoli. Individual alveoli are found on the walls of the bronchioli respiratory. Several alveoli are grouped together at the end of a bronchioli respiratory to form an alveolar sac, which is supplied by one alveolar duct. Alveoli are approximately 50 micrometers in size. They enlarge considerably during inhalation. Alveoli are largely composed of thin cells called type 1 pneumocytes. These cells are extremely thin, allowing oxygen and carbon dioxide to diffuse. Air, with the required oxygen, enters the alveoli via the alveolar duct. This is where gas exchange begins. All alveoli are covered with a network of thin blood vessels. Deoxygenated blood can thus be enriched with oxygen and at the same time release unneeded carbon dioxide into the alveoli. This is done with the help of red blood cells, the erythrocytes. Erythrocytes move through the blood vessels and take up the oxygen, shown here in blue. Iron, Fe, in these blood cells is responsible for binding the oxygen. An iron ion can bind to one oxygen molecule so that the oxygen can be transported. At the same time, the carbon dioxide in the bloodstream and emitted by red blood cells diffuses into the alveoli. This is made possible by diffusion. In the alveoli, we see a lot of oxygen, whereas in the blood vessels, there is a lot of carbon dioxide. This difference in concentration is eventually balanced by diffusion. This is how the differences in concentration are equalized. Let's now look at how air and therefore oxygen is transported into our lungs. Our body has various muscles that inflate and deflate the lungs. The muscles of the neck are responsible for fixing and raising the sternum and upper ribs, and certain muscles between the ribs raise and lower all the other ribs. However, the most important muscle of respiration is not found in the neck or chest area, but near the abdomen. The thoracic diaphragm, or simply diaphragm, is responsible for most of the work of breathing. First, let's take a closer look at chest breathing through the neck and rib muscles. Due to their arrangement and the contraction of the rib muscles, the ribs rotate outward. This causes an increase in volume, particularly in the lower regions, that is, the caudal ribs. The rib movement can be imagined similar to the handle of a bucket. The handle is shown here in red. Therefore, it is called bucket handle motion. The increase in chest volume occurs not only laterally, but also sagittally. The sternum rotates as well, as seen here. This is called pump handle motion, because the movement of the sternum can be thought of as the motion of a pump handle. Thus, one can easily visualize the increase and decrease in volume of the lungs. When the lungs inflate, a negative pressure is created in the lungs and we breathe in. When the lungs deflate, positive pressure is created and air is forced out of our lungs. We breathe out. Inhalation, exhalation. Inhalation, exhalation. Here we can see the inhalation and exhalation process from below. As noted earlier, in addition to chest breathing, we can use diaphragmatic breathing. It can be performed separately or in cooperation with chest breathing. Diaphragmatic breathing is the natural way of breathing at rest. During diaphragmatic breathing, the diaphragm rises and lowers. When it rises, we exhale. When it lowers, we breathe in. In order for the lungs to inflate and deflate, the body has a pleura. The pleura serves as a lube outside of the lungs to allow for up and down motions against the chest wall. For this reason, the inner pleura covers the lungs. The outer pleura lines the rib cage and diaphragm. This allows the inner pleura to shift against the outer pleura. Between these two layers is the pleural cavity, shown here in yellow.
That is what shown in yellow, where there will be a accumulation of liquid that is called as pleural effusion. It's a common, just the problem we can see next one.
This animation illustrates the
covered, I think so. Then let us see.
Our lungs are very carefully placed in the rib
Why?
cages. They are attached to the muscles of the ribs called the intercostal muscles, and we have a very important muscle called the diaphragm,
This is
which is
already covered in
underneath
our
the rib
previous.
cages. Now, these two muscles play a vital
run
role
and see.
and is it a voluntary process?
Yeah. We want to.
But
we want
just
to
like
clear-
any muscle of our body, these muscles
This video is selected because here it is clearly shows that our brain parts are involved in the movement. So while it is having problem, we can study about the parts of the brain where it is responsible for any disorder.
cannot operate or cannot contract without the signals from the brain. Now, before I tell you which part of the brain does that, let me ask you something. What do you think breathing is? Is it a voluntary process? That means, do you have control over it? Or is it an involuntary process? What do you think? Okay, let me help you. Think of when you are swimming underwater. You can hold your breath for some time on your own will, right? That means you have control over breathing. That means breathing is voluntary. But then again, think of while you are sleeping. Do you put effort to breathe when you sleep? Well, breathing happens without putting in any conscious effort, right? So that means breathing is involuntary. Okay, did I confuse you? If I did, then let me clear it now. The answer to my question is that breathing is both voluntary and involuntary. But in this video, we will limit our discussions to only the involuntary regulation of breathing because that is what the syllabus is asking. Okay? So, let's begin the involuntary control of breathing and let me show you which part of the brain takes care of that. So, as you can see on your screen, the highlighted part, which is the lower part of the brain, which is called pons and medulla oblongata, they
See, by looking at this shape, I would like to remind you that, can you see something in this? This is what we can know. Yata Brahmande Tata Pindande, we just say, as in microcosm, and the same is in the, what do you call it? Yata Brahmande, cosmology, and the same thing is in within our body. So here it is compared with a Ganesha. So if you can imagine that, this part is look like a Ganesha, and Ganesha is a lord of Buddhi. So that's what, there are so many regions in our body, it resembles some of the thing. When I was going through, and there is another great book written by that Maharshi University, Tom Blazer, I think so, if I am correct. So he has written about how physiology is connected to our Puranas, what do you call, Shastras and Vedas. He has compared like that. Then some other time we will all discuss about it, and very interesting. So when I saw this, I remembered. So I just stopped here and just wanted to say that it looks like a Ganesha. So everything is there within our body. So it is a Advaita principle.
Have special group of neurons in them that controls the muscles that helps you breathe. The first group of neuron I would like to mention here is the dorsal respiratory group, which is present in the medulla oblongata region. And it has nerve connections to the muscles that helps you breathe, that is to the diaphragm and the intercostal muscles. And this DRG has a very special power. It can constantly fire nerve impulses to the muscles of breathing, that is only to contract. It do not need the help of any other part of the brain to fire nerve impulse to these muscles. And contraction of these muscles means inhalation. But the contraction has to stop somewhere, right? So that the person can exhale. Now these muscles will exhale only if the nerve impulse stops coming into these intercostal muscles. And to switch off these signals, there is a special center in the pons called the pneumotaxic center. It is again a group of neurons which has the power to only switch off the DRGs. It can only switch it off because it is always switched on all by itself. So there is this pneumotaxic center which can only switch it off, and that too for not more than 3 to 5 seconds. And if there is no signal from the brain, the intercostal muscles will relax, and that will lead to exhalation. Now the pneumotaxic center switches off the DRGs for at least 12 to 16 times per minute, and that is how exhalation takes place. And again, that is how we get a constant rate of breathing.
Here you have you are seeing this very interesting thing. When no signal comes to the lungs from the brain, that time automatically our lung relaxes. So the main system of the pulmonary center is to switch off. It will switch off as per our requirement. Means as many times as we respire to take the respiration, based on that this switch will take place. So how interesting it is. We know, we are aware of it, but when we go into the deep, what is happening within our body is a very interesting thing. You are taking back, inhaling is intentionally, or you can say we can take it this one. While relaxation, the brain switches off, and again our respiration is relaxed, our chest, lungs is relaxed. Is it not interesting? See, very interesting. So keep on looking into it. It's a very interesting because we are not healers.
Exhalation.
As we know about the system is better.
Exhalation. And again, I would like to repeat what I just said, that DRGs, they only send signal to contract. That means it only sends signal to inspire, okay, only to take in the air. Because when the signal stops, the relaxation will take place on its own. It is just like an elastic recoiling, and when the signals are switched off, expiration will take place on its own. Okay? Okay, so I hope you got the gist of how your brain or your nervous system has control over your breathing. It regulates your breathing. Okay? Now, let us consider a different situation. Let's imagine that you're involved in physical exercise. So while exercising, you must have noticed that your breathing pattern changes. You must have noticed that you start breathing really very fast. Now, why do you think that happens? Because again, you are not doing that on purpose. Your breathing rate increases on its own. It is involuntary. Well, it is found that while you are engaged in physical activities, your muscles are constantly using a lot of energy and sending out a lot of carbon dioxide into the blood. Now you will say that, oh, what's big deal in that? Our muscles or our body tissues anyways does that. It removes the carbon dioxide into the blood. But here you are releasing carbon dioxide faster than you would otherwise do in your resting state. Now, this increased carbon dioxide in the blood is actually not good. It decreases the pH of the blood. It makes it very acidic. Because carbon dioxide, when it mixes with water, it dissociates into hydrogen ion and bicarbonate ion. And the increased level of hydrogen ion is what increases the acidity of the blood. So, to tackle the problem of the increased hydrogen ion concentration, or let's just say increased carbon dioxide concentration in the blood, there are various sensors in our body. And one group of sensors are present in the arteries of our heart. So those arteries are carotid artery, and it is also present in this arc, which is in the aorta, which is called the aortic arc. So all these sensors, they can sense the increased level of hydrogen ion and carbon dioxide in the blood, and they send the signal immediately to this lower part of the brain. Since they can sense the change in the chemistry of the blood, they are also known as chemoreceptors. So we found one group of these chemoreceptors in the arteries of the heart, and another group of chemoreceptors is found near the medulla oblongata. Let me draw it with some yellow dots, okay? It's present near the medulla oblongata. And they sense the changed chemistry of the cerebrospinal fluid, because there are certain parts of the brain where blood cannot reach. The blood transfers the components which is required for the brain into the fluid which is present in the brain, which we call the cerebrospinal fluid. And these receptors, the chemoreceptors here, they sense the changed chemistry in that particular fluid. So we got to see that there are two groups of chemoreceptors, one in the medulla and another in the carotid artery and aortic arc. Now, after sensing the acidity of the blood, what action does it take? The chemoreceptors will send signal to the pneumotaxic center. And guess what the pneumotaxic center does? It comes to the rescue. It starts switching off the DRGs faster than it was otherwise doing. It will switch it off more frequently than it was doing in the resting state. Well, what happens then? Well, then we will inhale and exhale faster than we were otherwise doing. Okay? So that more oxygen can rapidly get into our blood, because our body is in need of it. Right? So here the pneumotaxic center did two things. First, it increased the rate of breathing, and second, it also increased the depth of breathing. Do you see the depth is more in most places? Well, it is because the body wants to grasp more oxygen in less time. Okay, so this was all about the regulation of breathing. Now let's quickly summarize what we discussed in this video. So in this video, we discussed about the involuntary regulation of breathing. And we saw that there is both nervous control or neural control and chemical control over breathing. Talking of the neural control, we saw that there are two centers in the lower part of the brain, one in the pons and the other in the medulla. The one in the medulla is called the dorsal respiratory group, which is always switched on. Okay, it always fires nerve impulses to the intercostal muscles, causing it to contract, and that is how inhalation takes place. And to exhale, the pneumotaxic center present in the pons switches off the DRG for some time, and that is how we exhale. Okay, now coming to the chemical control, the chemical control comes into play when there is an increased level of carbon dioxide or hydrogen ion in the blood or in the cerebrospinal fluid. It basically takes care of the acidity or pH of the blood. So the one group of receptors or sensors which are present near the medulla oblongata region that senses the increased level of acidity in the cerebrospinal fluid is called the central chemoreceptor. And another one which is present in the carotid artery and aortic arc is called the peripheral chemoreceptors. And they both report to the pneumotaxic center which is present in the pons. So this was all about the involuntary regulation of breathing.
Now we have gone through the how this chemical imbalance makes our breathing to have a repeated breathing and all we come to know. So we see, is there any other videos we can enlighten us?
Our lungs are very
Yeah,
carefully
this is I think
placed.
so we had covered.
You must have seen your mom preparing hung curd, or we also call it the Greek yogurt. She puts some curd in a thin muslin cloth and then hangs it, right? So that all the whey can drip out, all the liquid drips out. Now, can you cloth and not any other fabric? Like the first point would be easily pass through it. Pull the cling film, which is used, nothing can pass with this whole hunkered and logical world. Membranes and change membranes, because these membranes are the one through which some kind of exchange happens, either of gases, nutrients, some kind of fluid, something goes in or goes out of these membranes. Okay, that's why we call
We
it
have
the
already
exchange membranes.
studied it
And
many
if
times.
something goes
But this is the action, how this action is happening in between the alveoli and the blood vessels. So I think so we have already covered this many times. So you see how we just highlight it. See how basically it is happening. It's a very curiosity, in how this oxygen and carbon dioxide they are exchanging. So this is all out there. I think we saw it many times. See, these are blood vessels like this, and oxygen is in due to the pressure. So lower pressure to higher pressure. So in alveoli, the oxygen is in high pressure, so high concentration. So from high concentration to low concentration, it moves, and the same way the carbon dioxide in the other way. In blood, it is more, so it is taken by our respiratory system, and with our expiration, when you are breathe out, we send out those carbon dioxide. So this is what I found it's very interesting. So I took it here. Now I think so. This I will run through the respiratory system PDF, because this we supposed to learn. But I tell you, as I told you, this is a very big chapter for us. It is not, this much is not required. Okay, see, but still, I will send you this PDF, so you can in your free time, or whenever if you want to go into the dive deep into the physiology and anatomy. Definitely, we already studied the regions of our body. Okay, so I was telling you every part of our spinal cord is responsible for the different activities. Here you can see from thoracic vertebrae what all the activity is doing. So you can think, see, there is a system I already called, I told you, there is a system called osteopathy. What osteopathy says, because earlier time massaging and Ayurvedic massaging and you can therapeutic massaging, what they do, they massage the spinal system, spinal cord. So there it covers all part of our body. So our lungs are controlled, means they are controlled by the nervous system going through these spinal cords. So when you align there's a osteopathy main principle is, due to misalignment in the spinal cord, all disease occur. When you align the spinal cord, your all disease disappear. This is the principle of like in homeopathy, like your like in osteopathy is all bone imbalance happen because of the physical problem. Physical problem get cures when you align this spinal cord. Okay, so by this, what we suppose this thoracic area, we have the OM from 31 to 34. By selecting that which are thoracic vertebrae are covered in which group, you can also give along with whatever you are giving. We'll discuss next. So what are the Vibranics remedies working on this area? Okay, then you just pass, and this I am going to share with you all. Okay, this is not required because we are not going into so deep, but no one restrict you to go deeper and understand it. Okay, so we will see which are very important one. See, we already studied in our videos those diaphragm. With this only mainly all the respiration is happening. Like a diaphragm is shaped like a parachute. Okay, then we all studied that lungs and lungs muscle. See, this is a pleura. We studied in the video the connectivity between the diaphragm and the muscles of the lungs. So it is shown here. Can you? I think so. It will be easily visible. So this is a X-rays. This is a lung. Generally that tuberculosis, it affects apex of the lungs, this area. Now I think see, because why I'm interested to show that video, because there is an animation which is actually what is happening during the respiration. We can very easily see, visualize. So visualization is very, very important. See, since we have come to this, because it is whether it is covered in the disorder of the eye or the respiratory system, since they have given this respiratory system, there is a lacrimal duct. Why lacrimal duct is required? Because to avoid dryness of eyes, constantly the tears will be coming out to moisten our eyes. So, and there is a hole between from this ear to the nasal cavity. There is a hole. If this hole blocks due to the cold and inflammation, we start getting the tears. Tears continuously appear because it is secreted by the lacrimal duct. And Merck dulcis is in a very important medicine. in the homeopathy. Same thing we can simulate in our vibrionics. And one more, when you are studying about the respiratory system, we have already seen that we have covered little bit in the nasal cavity and sinuses. Okay, these are sinuses. Then what is the disease called? Sinusitis. So here the inflammation in the cough accumulation will be there. Here the empty places. Here cough accumulates and get inflamed, and one get, if when they are bending forward, this pain aggravates more. When they are going in the sun, it's increasing more. And what are the remedies in our book? So volume 3, sinus. Where is that? Sinus mixture number 99 is there, and even OM sinuses also there, like OM 23 is there. Means let us see OM 23 what it covers, so that we can have a very good, we can appreciate how these people have covered the, and very great thanks to Mataji, we call her Mata Narayani. So how much really strain she has taken to formulate these formulas. Okay, and see, sinuses, sinal mucous membrane, nasal sinuses, sphenoid sinuses, and maxillary sinuses. You see, we can see all those things: maxillary sinuses, and nasal sinuses, and the sphenoid sinuses, and nasal mucous membrane. All it is covered under the OM 23. So, what are the choices we have? Mission number 99 and OM 23 is the sinuses, and it is written where it can be used. All nasal and mucous problem, allergies, and hay fever. Hay fever is a frequent sneezing. And we got a sinus balance also. How beautifully they are in balance remedies. What all they are covering? They are covering everything, even including batch remedies. I will just read it for our better our usage. How we can appreciate that? See, nasal sinus balance, in that one they have added the gunpowder. Gunpowder is one of the most important remedy in the homeopathy to tackle any infection. And Hipperself is also one of the fantastic remedy in the infection. Hydrastis and calibacromate. Calibacromate works on the mucous system. This dries out the mucus. And Silicea and Myristica, and these are all the wonderful remedies for the sinus problem. And also in the sinus balance, they have added the organ remedies also. So maxillary sinus, nasal mucous membrane, nasal sinus, sphenoid sinus, all they have added in the sinuses balance. So when someone is coming with a complaining that here we get pain, how do you check the sinus? You just press this side, this area. So can you see the green area? Frontal sinuses, you just press this area. If they are painful and having the headache or any symptoms or facial pain, you just press this area and find out it is a painful. This is definitely from the sinuses. And for that mission number 99 and OM 23 and this OM BR 15, this can be added. Also you can have the sinus in the Soham mixtures all together. You can give all together. Someone may ask me, if this mixture is already there in the Soham mixture, Soham, all these are there. Balance remedies are there. Mixture 99 is there. OM is also there. But why we have to give again? That is mean we can treat as a different entity. So that is, since a number is different, do you, have you seen that all the numbers are different? Mixture number 99 different, and OM 23 is a different, and BR 15 is a different. So they work like a different entity. How we came to know about this is through our CC combo remedies. We see that even though that mixtures and they add individually and make it strong, we have seen CC combos are working excellent. Okay, so now let's go. See, we have sinuses and all. We'll again, I told you we'll be seeing that select remedy also. How? Because individualization is very much important in the homeopathy and as well as in vibronics. See, if we can get the, how we have to do. You collect, for example, now we are using the sinuses, all the mixture number 99, 23, and BR15 and the Soham sinus altogether, and individualized remedy. Any individualized remedy is matching to his complaint. See in this select remedy. So if it is matching, give along with that. So you can give in the different bottle to cover separately. Okay. So this is how it is done. Go to the next, see what all.
Yeah, sir, I wanted to ask this question only, like when we have all these combinations in CC, right? So whenever we are targeting any specific area, like even if we are going for sinus, then why not we go only for CC formula? It has all, BR, NM, every ohm is like all the combinations are already present in that. Then why should we go separately?
Yes, very correct. Very correct. This is what, see, since those all are derived separately, since they are all derived separately, when one formula is there for one target, as many as the remedies possible, if you add, the target will become strong. Our first target is sinuses. Okay, so we are adding mixture number 99. And even though it is there in our Soham mixture, it's already there. But since the thought pattern is different, while thinking about mixture number 99, what all the remedies they are adding, the thought pattern of the person who is deriving the rate is different. And balance remedies, what he was thinking is different. For that reason only numbers are different. When numbers are different, but target is one, we are focusing on the sinus. For that reason, we have to add, even though it is a different one, we have to add it again. For example, in the CC combo remedies, 100 CC combo remedies, I have derived the number in the top. That only one number, if you put most of the remedies, I mean all are, they are covered in that. Means by deriving the rate, submitting to Lord the Durga Devi or the Shakti, I said I want the number covering all those combination in this number. So please give me a number. Then I doused for that each combination, and each combination, many people, many of our group people, they have used the single vibronic rate written on the CC combo, and many people have appreciated it. But the difference between this is the recently one I gone through one article saying that vibronically prepared remedies and the homeopathically prepared remedies, what is the difference? Why vibronically prepared is milder in nature? Why this the remedies prepared from the herbs are stronger in nature? It is there, and it doesn't even, vibronic remedies doesn't even give a side effect, or side effect means aggravation. In homeopathy, it is no side effect, only a medicinal aggravation they say. But that is also not there in vibronics. Why? Because how many minutes, how many hours we put on making one particular remedy, that counts. If we use the same formula, See, there are one in CC combo. I am going to show you that in the PPT. So there are around 50 remedies. Every time we are using that particular number and are focusing on the water to having those combination, it become more and more concentrated, just like, like a group healing. But here, one person thinks about one thing in a different way. So here, you don't think of remedy, medicine. You don't think about medicine at all. It is a thought pattern. As you take more and more that particular thought, you are infusing in a water, it becomes strong. So like that only. For mixture number 99, one thought. Okay, mixture number 99 there. This will have cure the sinuses. Next, 23, OM 23. I am using this maxillary sinus, this, that, and nasal mucous membrane. So this will cure. So likewise, as many times even in Yajna, in Homa, what we do? The either in 108 times, only one mantra is repeated 108 times. Okay, or 1008 times. Trayambakam Majamahe Sugandim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukam Eva Bandhanat Mrityor Moksha Mamratat. The same mantra repeated 108 times or 1008 times based on, and they are offering the or ghee, or you can say whatever the rice pieces, and according to the requirement. So repetition is very important. Means one about the same thing, or you can say, that's what I am telling you. If you have a different base machine, you can have a base 10, base 44, base 336. Use all the base, because all the numbers are different, but base 10 and base 44 are only the base 44 is a refined version of base 10, and base 336 is unique. So many people have the card system. I tell you, insert the sinuses card and set the sinus 336. That time Jan Combe has told in his introduction that if you geometric and the numeric code, if you are setting, it is equivalent to covering space and time. So likewise, since lack of time, or you can say when you want to, we are using only one, that is 336. You can use both. You can, the same water, you can even add base 44 with the cards and also 336 rates at the same time. So fantastic one, because it is, this question is there with so many people, even though it is already covered, why we are adding it. And since I am talking about this system, I am getting wonderful result in the any allergies, because we have come across, due to lot of pollution everywhere in the world, not only India, we can very well beautifully we can cover up with our Vibronic remedies. Whatever I am talking will be in record also, so you can just see that what are the remedies working for our lungs and the respiratory system in our book. Mainly, when I am talking about the allergies, allergic rhinitis or sneezing and other thing, we got a hay fever in our book. Hay fever is nothing but a frequent sneezing. You can give that. And what is a homeopathic single remedy for that? Frequent sneezing, mostly covered 80 to 90% can be covered by Sabadilla. Sabadilla is a remedy for frequent sneezing. That is available in our hay fever mixture here. What is the mixture, hay fever mixture number? Yeah, mixture number 19. In that one, they are adding, see, Alum Cepa, Nectrum Urine, Sabadilla. I have seen, and how to cover up. Use the hay fever, and if they are having a running nose also, cold 6x, adds cold 6x, and mixture number 62, that is allergy and allergy B. We have to add that, and even chemical allergy, if you think it is happening, you can use that, and also use the, in balance remedy, the allergy balance can be added. If you think this allergy balance is due to the sinuses, you are treating sinuses or the lungs. Based on that, if you're treating the sinus, you add the sinus balance. If you are treating the lungs, because respiratory problem is coming into the lungs area, then you can give the lungs balance. So based on that, then the ultimate, just like if you have, I'm telling you, if you are very busy and you want to treat immediately, then go to the Soham mixture. Soham mixtures are the mixtures of the mixture. So you can go lungs and chest and lungs. You go there, chest and lungs in the Soham combination and give that. That is mixture number Soham mixture 31. So likewise you can cover up. So see, you can ask why, 4 whys. So he is having this problem, why? This is also why. Then if he is allergic to something, the first thing is that you should try to avoid that. And even because in such a thing, you can't avoid some materials, some substance you can't avoid. Then what you have to do? You have to take that same material and in our 2-well machine we can potentize, make a anti dust and give him. So that what happens? He will gain the resistance to that particular problem. And we have seen in this occasion, because here these sessions are knowledge imparting sessions, not be strictly we have to follow whatever it is given in our curriculum, not like that. Here I am telling, in this occasion, if there is any allergy, we can even take any secretion of a body and potentize and give. Given in the 200 potency, it will work like an anti-allergic. So we are seeing in the similar way, we are going to study the digestive system. So in that system, we will again go in the deep. So any allergy, we can potentize their own blood into 200 potency. And how to potentize the blood, it is there in my video channel, it is there. How we can potentize the blood, you can use, actually potentizing blood can be done on routinely, can be definitely done routine. One of our homeopathic healer, he has got 45 years of experience. He is doing this and thinking he has very great thing he has researched. And he wanted to patent it. But we are doing it as on routinely. If someone is not getting better, just you take a diabetic the lancet, just prick one drop, and this again I don't want to repeat it here. You go to my how to potentize the blood in my video, and you will be able to understand what all this that is used. Okay, if you have any doubt, again you can come back to me. Okay, sir. Now we have seen what are the, whatever we can see here, but all are just a trachea, tracheitis, or laryngopharynx, throat, pharyngitis, like that they are there. But see, we are treating on the symptom level. What is the symptom? Either they will be thirsty or no thirst or a dry cough or anything like that. So we treat on the symptomatic base. So see, if anything is very important, and these are all, whatever we are, we will cover in the remedies. See, this is again, it's very important. Why I am emphasizing on this, because here this is the main area where that exchange is taking place. Carbon dioxide and the oxygen. Okay. Yeah, definitely. I'm going to share this one, this fantastic one. Just just purchase for this course only for online. But you have a liberty to go deep into it. So instead of, because we know that, especially I never see any movie. If at all, if I see anything like that, it will be on this subject only. How we can improve ourselves, how we can serve our patient better, how we can think about them. On that level only we will keep thinking. Okay, this is what it's already there. Again, I will not see anything is separately. We will take it over, and now we are going in the just a few slides I have added here to represent that, and see how we are covering the bronchitis and asthma. Asthma has come the third number only. Yes, this is the chest tonic. 19.1 is a chest tonic, and in chest tonic, what all we are using? What are the remedies working on the respiratory system? And altogether, it is made and given as a lung tonic. This is one of the thing from the CC combo. So you can see NM8 chest, NM9. You can know this is I am going to give you, and you already everyone has got a 108 combo book. If not, I will send you. But here we should appreciate how they have covered this remedy. See, blindly giving 19.1 and understanding it 9.1 is very, very powerful, because our remedies are made by thought. Our remedies are made by intention. So many times Dr. Suvana says, whatever you give and make you in your machine, it works excellent. Because why? And if I do, it don't work as it's working with you. Means understanding about the combination, understanding about its ingredient, understanding of that ingredient, how it's going to affect on the human, the proving of those remedies, that will create a deep impact on the water or pills of what we are infusing. Okay. Now let us see that you just take a highlight how this OM9, what is that? Sorry, mixture number 9. What is it, and what is it is covering? Okay, mixture number 9 is a tissue salt. I have already said many times about the tissue remedies. So Kalimur, Ferrum-phos, and natrum sulph and Cilicia, they are wonderful remedies for in the biochemic medicine that can be simulated in our vibronics. Bronchis, lungs and tonsils, asthma and cough, it is useful. Okay, again we go for the mixture number 49. Here why we have to add it, because we already know once we open the book and see the usages, definitely we'll be able to appreciate. But see, this is just appears like magic. Nothing is there. You're keeping a glass of water and setting the number, and you assume that it is having a healing power. It's really magic. It is very difficult to believe. But with the experience, as much as you use it, if you keep it, it's a very valuable. It's a magical instrument. Like keep it, buy it, and keep it at a one shelf and never use it. You will not come to know about the effectiveness of that vibronics intention. So I tell you, because this is one of my greatest experience with because I also started like you. My vibronics journey also started like you only, with a zero, knowing nothing about vibronics. I want to just say here to increase your confidence in the vibronics. So this was also like that. In 1995, I purchased my first machine from Divish Tanna from Vadodara. So that time only small base 10 machine was there, and without potentizer. I used it, I was practicing homeopathy since 1987 to 95. I was purely practicing homeopathy. It is written in my discharge book, saying that during that time I served in Air Force, in the field of homeopathy and electrohomeopathy and vibronics. It is written. So During that time, I was purchasing remedies like all these KBS, chest pills, and penmycin. These are all I was purchasing. But one day, where I was purchasing, there the person told, see, this is a book available. Where you are purchasing, he said they have released one book. When I saw this book, and I was just reading, and since I was in the electronic field, I was a radar engineer in Air Force. You can say radar fitter they called there, and I was in charge of the American Radar Repair Depot that is in Pune, and Pune I was trained, and I was in Delhi. I was in charge of quality inspection. It's called as a QAS. I was a quality inspector, head of that ADGS factor. So there, all instruments were at my disposal. I could use them. So when I got that base 10, I was getting very satisfactory result. Then that time, 1995, you can imagine what was the gold rate during that time. Then you can imagine what is the machine rate. You can just Google what was the gold rate at 1995. Okay, that time it costed me 5,000 rupees. Then it was working good. And my patient sponsored me to go for a higher level. Go for the 336. So when I gone to the next level, then there it was having even potentizer and everything. To cut short my story in the short, I was having that, and because in the repertory, one of my best friend's son, he was 2 years old, having testicular swelling. Then when I gone through the repertory to see that testicular swelling painless, iodine was written. Iodine is called as iodine. So I just dowsed and saw which potency suits this particular problem. Then it came with the dowsing, it came around 50 m. Then I just, because not having confidence in the Vibronic like all of us, but of course I'm having a lot of confidence now that I don't depend on any other remedies. I just return him like iodine 50 m and go and purchase in the Delhi. That time I was in Delhi. He gone all over in Delhi. I don't know. I think he might have gone to the wrong places only. So he said, no sir, no boss, I didn't get that remedy. Then I said, okay, either it will work or it will not work, because it is not at all a remedy. It is only thought infusion. So let me try. I just gave him iodine 50 m made from this 336 machine. Within next day itself, his swelling was gone. His totally swelling was gone. So it was I forced to, believe that system. Like that, in our group, so many people are there. In this world, so many people are there. They are getting with the experience. See, always when we try and give, then only we will say whether it is going to work or not work. There is only two things available with the Vibronics. Either work or it will not work. It will not work because of what? You are not correctly chosen the remedy. Or it will not work because your thought pattern is not correct. You don't, at least you should try. Even while you are giving for a trial, will we have a confidence in that recovery? No. We just see this is given and let us try. And the first time when I got a cure in that small kid, I didn't believe, but it happened. So even though we don't need to believe here in the Vibronics. Someone said they don't believe, sir. They don't agree, sir. That's what I'm telling you. Clearly, you all will be given a clear-cut instruction that in your clinic you should display, you should take the consult. This is will be written on the wall. This is purely a drugless therapy. No drugs are used. Nothing is used. Only thought infused water. See, once you start getting good result, they are getting better. They will ask you. But our terms and condition of drugless therapy foundation is they must be well informed. Okay, anyway, I am deviated from my topic. Let's come back to our topic again. Now, 49 we saw, and Jack, Olive Jack. So this is, see, you have to, what you have to do, whenever you get time, you go into the breakdown, see what are written there, go to the homeopathic materia medica, and online so many barbaric materia medica is available. Read the first para only. Read the first para. So we can analyze how these remedies are covered. When you see that how remedies are covered, so then only you will be able to use them in the particular cases. Okay. So respiratory, as you see here, OM respiratory, what all it covers, we will see. Mission number 2, OM respiratory. I am telling you like that, you read the breakdown, like adrenaline, histamine, lungs and thyroid. This is used for what? For all asthmatic condition, any condition in which lungs have been weakened. Used in conjunction with a medulla or cardiac plexus. We have seen. That's why I added the last one video, even though it was not so necessary, because our lungs activities are controlled by medulla. So here they are telling in the respiratory they use the medulla and cardiac plexus. Cardiac plexus is the next remedy, is already there in this. So I think here they are cardiac and lungs plexus OM19. Yeah, how they are covering that? So cardiac and plexus here, the cardiac plexus and vagus nervous system, and the diaphragm. See, diaphragm is a very important the tissue or even this part of the lungs. For that reason, it will contract and expand. So that is, it is mentioned in the cardiac and lungs. So it is well mentioned, but we are in a hurry. We are not able to go into the deep of the text what we are using it. So I am telling you, for that only I tell every practitioner, use this first. We are only diving into that 14,000 rates where we dive in the ocean and reach nowhere. Okay, I never say that. If you know that here, if you dive, you are going to get the pearls or precious pearls, you can definitely dive. But use whatever already is there in your plate, readily available. You use that and get the results. Okay. Now, chest and lungs, I already told you. BR lungs, same thing. We are adding. See, we can learn from the CC combos that even though they are covered in the different topic, again they are adding it to increase the concentration of that particular our aim. What is our aim? To that it is covered. Okay. So next, heart chakra, saral chakra, that is sacral chakra, sacral throat chakra, and cat eye, pearl. So there are many things, why these CC combos are very important. Why I prescribe, I tell the even layman who don't know anything about the body functioning, this and that, go blindly and make the CC combo and give. Already someone thought for it, making it better. We just borrow their idea and we use it here. So sacral chakra, all the chakra healers and energy healers here, they know the sacral chakra is for that temperature control, or you can say Agni Tattva. It governs Agni Tattva. Throat, air. Its air circulation is controlled with the throat chakra. And even gem therapy. Gem therapy is also used here. Pearl is used for pearl represent the moon. And the kapha system means in Ayurveda, 5 elements are there. In kapha system is governed by a pearl. For that reason, we are using here. When you think, we just read this and ask yourself why this is added into this combination. Then you will be able to go into deeper and deeper level of the understanding. And as you go deeper, your thought infusion on water and pills will become strong. Okay. Next, you see the even acupuncture method. In acupuncture method, the lungs are again connected to heart and bladder. So bladder meridian, heart meridian, kidney meridian, and even large intestine meridian and lungs meridian, all are connected to the lungs. So they are using those things also. And your direct number for the radionic rate, if so many having the cards, they can directly pick up this card. Like if you pick that 241 card, it will be written as a bladder meridian on that directly. So it is very easy for the card user. If they are using the only dial machine, there is a conversion table. It is there for this 235. What is the radionic rate? I mean the rate and potency, it is written there. And I already told you, when you are making any remedy through this, if any potency is written here, you have to set that potency. If no potency is written here, you have to set the same potency as written on the card. Okay, then that is 19.1 is known as the chest tonic. If someone is having chest problem, or you can say lungs problem, lungs are weak, you can give that 19.1 having these combination. You can make either, see, my idea is going forward, in the distal radionics, I will give that facility. Because we will do that. So in 19.1, it will be a button called 19.1. When you press that, all these numbers, all these will come one after the other within 15 to 20 seconds, I mean 20 minutes, because each one is repeated 1,008 times. Each vibration is repeated 1,008 times. So within 20 minutes, this CC combo 19.1 will be ready. That is my next program. That will be done, because now I have already done. Those are all digital radionic, digital users. There is in the last page I have given like a heart tonic and even lungs tonic. So if you just press that lungs tonic, many combinations will come one after the other, and it will become a means it. And at the background, now earlier it was just like it was showing like a hanging. It is hanging like that. Is to show we get this one, and the person using that machine will be confused. Oh, my computer is a hand and nothing is happening here. So when you, but now I given the facility, you go back in the screen, in the terminal, we will be able to see all that vibrational rate will be running, so that you will understand yes, something is going on here. I need to wait. Okay, that I will be giving you. But that also I'll tell you, if you go into the ingredient level and understand, and then you are using it, it will have a greater impact. Okay. Then next one is the allergy. So since it is this copy paste I done with a Spanish CC combo, for that reason you are finding the improper spellings. But you can understand that next point or rest all then are given in the same, whatever written in the cards only. So this is for the allergy. Allergy, how we are covering? See here, they are adding CC 19.1 and plus, means first you have to make that 19 plus 1 and then add to these many, add the other things. I already just told you just before how we are tackling the allergy. The same thing is written here. It is allergy, sinusitis and calming, hay fever, allergy, 62 allergy balance, and post nasal drip and sinus and the SOS. SOS is for the, you have to see why I am using SOS. It's clearly written. It isn't that even blood poisoning, any toxicity. So for that reason, if someone is working in a such an environment is not it is a toxic to his body. For such things, it is everything is used. Again, OM sinus, allergy balance, sinus, and crown chakra, and tubercular. Yes, tuberculinum is 252, and is given in the 6 expectancy. Since see, no nosors. These are all called a nosor. Nosor means in homeopathy they are using the disease product to make the remedy. And at the same contest, I just want to share you that in the US FDA there is a great controversy is going on. There they wanted to stop all those remedies made by toxic material. The homeopathy itself is it is on a toxic principle only. Whichever is making you toxic, same thing you take and dilute it. Such a high dilution means dilute it, so that toxicity goes off, and it increases our immunity. This is the main principle. But if they are planning to stop, if they will stop only homeopathy, only vibronics, they have to depend. That I hope that situation should not come to that homeopathic doctors at all. But I wish let them grow. But if they are stopped, we can help them. We can help them through our vibronic remedies. We don't need any toxic substance for making the remedy. Okay. So this second 19.2 is for allergies. Take a little bit of time, and make in a large quantity and keep. So okay, now let's go to the third one. Asthma, bronchitis. Again you see 19.1 and all these combination. See, there are, you can see why this is used and all. You will get an answer. You ask in your mind why this SM6 is added, stress is added, because asthma is even also triggered by the stress, and asthma will be even resulted by immunity. Immunity here, as we already discussed in the previous this one, here immunity means it will correct the immune system. Either not increasing or not decreasing, not like that. It is even correct the immunity system. And if it is due to infection or a sorinum and syphilinum that they are using here, they are thinking, if as per Hahnemann's principle, that all disease started with the sora. What is sora? Itch, skin itch. They say this principle that all diseases started with the itch. Adam and Eve, they call their story in they started the wisdom developed by taking the wisdom apple and all. Okay, that we will not enter into controversy that whether it is true or false, but what we take from that story we'll take. So God said, don't take this fruit, but they disobeyed the God, and there must be some secret, or we might become like a God, and they taken that fruit, and they were before that, you all know that story. They were hiding behind the tree, and the God came to know that yes, they have taken this wisdom apple. Okay, so like that, since that time when they broken the law, they say that sora is generated. Sora disease is generated from that time. So they are asking as a sorinum is the miasmatic remedy, miasm remedy, so that generally it is said that if there is just remind me, I will tell you once again from the book, it is there where a disease is suppressed, it will create what disease? For example, if any uh, eruptions from hand, if you apply some ointment and it goes inside, it attacks the lungs. There is a suppression theory. We will discuss it, and you remind me that it need not to be within these 3 months. We'll again meet once again, and I'm very, very much interested to, by now you must have come to know. I'm very much interested to share knowledge. So when you talk about this, that is a theory of suppression. We'll take separately, and I will tell you where what eruption is suppressed, it will create into what. So they are assuming that might be someone's sora, I can say eruption, they have suppressed it and created into a lungs disease. For that reason, they are adding the sorainum and syphilinum and tuberculinum, and like that also. And calcareous floor, I will tell you this study about, study about these 12 tissue remedies. It's very interesting. And I recommend you, and even if possible, I will share in the group that there is a Darbaris combination, excellent combination. And when I was in Pathankot, this book was available. Yeah, that's one more story, because keep on stories are too much with me. I worked in one of the homeopathic clinic for 6 months. Worked means, see, like Ustad, Hamara Ustad the uधर, I used to work and help with him, and he was giving some powder mixed with a biochemic powder, and he never told me what he's doing. But for that reason, I had to work in his clinic for 6 months, and I had to clean the bottle and make the combination and give whatever he says. So that I worked for 6 months. Then I asked his son, this powder, where all you are mixing? What is the source of this combination? Then they said that this is the Darbaris combination. This like that, and I searched. That Darbaris combinations book was 15 rupees that time. And I traveled from Pathankot to Jalandhar for bringing that 15 rupees book. I spent more than 200 rupees during that time. So the story is like that. So that much important it is. Why I am sharing you this is, when I see, generally I know in the group of my 120 people, they neglect me, I know. But whenever I share something, it will be generally from my heart, because I have taken so much of pain to know that. Now see, Darbari combination I will be sending you. In that one, wonderful combinations are there. And with generally all those 12 tissue remedies, you can definitely 12 tissues, we can make a whole system, we can cure. Say there, calcareous floor is used to elasticity. Okay. In lungs, why we need the calcareous floor? We need to expand and contract. No, expand and contract, expand and contract. Wherever calcareous, meaning expansion and contraction is, this mechanism is there we use the calcareous floor. Even calcareous floor, I am giving in a hint, it reduces this scarring, it reduces the sagging of skin, it makes the skin tight, it gives a vitality look. So calcareous floor you can go through. So much. Even calcareous floor we can use for any glandular problem, any gland swollen, or you can say anywhere gland, we have all glands anywhere, so many, even breast, it may be anywhere. That for dissolving that, we are using Kalimur and calcareous floor. Calcareous floor is a hard, when you go into that materia medica, hard nodule is a calcareous floor, and reduced elasticity, calcareous floor. So like that, for the good working of our lungs, we need the elasticity. For that reason, we are using here the calcareous floor. Ferrum phos. Ferrum phos is a iron content. That is a main, for bleeding and increasing the hemoglobin, it is used. So likewise, you have to ask yourself why ferrum phos is used in this combination. And why Califos? Califos and MacFos are the work on the nervous system. As we saw, the medulla is working for all those activity in the lungs. So Califos and MacFos, they are using in the nervous system of the lungs, nerve control of the lungs, like that. So see how beautiful it is. Arnica. Then where Natrum sulf is again for the muscles. It works on the muscle, and also it is a antipsychotic remedy. Natrum sulf is the most important remedy for asthma in biochemistry. That also they are using. All the best things are added in this to make the super best thing. When you realize it and add and do, it really works excellent. Okay, then we'll go. Likewise, I don't want to take in some more time. This aconite, adrenaline, and adrenaline is one more stimulant, and this antimptat. See, in asthma, what happens? Generally, asthma, what remedy they prescribe in allopathy? Huh? They give that Astalin. What it does, it dilates and the easy circulation, easy airflow will be there, and some steroid so that it will strengthen your muscles, like that. So here the similar thing how we do it in this vibronics. So adrenaline and antimptat. See, I request you go through this all. I will share you after this. Immediately I will share you the boric materia medica or any materia medica which will cover this. And this is not in the main time, you don't waste it here. First, use this and get the result. When you get the result, don't satisfy yourself. Go into the deeper of these remedies. Why he has cured or why he has not cured. Like that. So, these are all the pituitary gland. What are the glands are working for that? And pulsatilla. Pulsatilla is evening aggravation, step, and if it is tubercular in nature or rescue remedy, if it is a rescue remedy, it's a biochemical, batch flower remedies used here and made in a rescue remedy to control the anxiety and support with the mind and all. It is used. Morgan, these are all called as what they called as the bowel nosode. They called as a bowel nosode, and if you use the standard materia medica, you will get everything about it, and you will appreciate. You just see how to read it. I will also tell you now itself how to read the materia medica. See, suppose you are interested in knowing how it works on the chest and lungs. Then you open that particular materia medica and only read about those circulation and respiration. Only these two things you read, because they are responsible for this asthma. Only there you use and try to catch let's call a keynote symptom. If you get the keynote symptom, then if you match it, then you can cover up that whole system. And we are going to take the next level. We are going to take how to take the cases and how to classify it, what are the cold remedies, hot remedies, we will discuss it later. Okay, so psychotico and all these are called as a bowel nosode, because Bach's flower remedy it is invented by the Dr. Bach itself, who has found out the Bach flower remedies. He made the remedies with the intestinal bacteria. He made the remedies with the intestinal bacteria and found out if that bacteria is deficient or not proper, then what disease will come. You already might heard that if you get hungry means you are inside, the bacteria will get hungry and you get hunger. This is said, and that is right. Okay, so likewise you have to go in the detail and see what are the different part of the brain and diaphragm and histamine. Histamine is these are causes for the allergy, like that. Pharynx nerve and Totally, see, we should appreciate this combination, right? Then let us see again rapid emergency in the like a breathlessness and not able to breathe like that. What you have to add? Along with that, you have to add the paramedical rescue. Mission number 91: inflammation, oxygen, and rescue, aspidosperma, and sympathetic nervous system. That is fantastic one. There are only 4 remedies you make by a rate or a card. These are because this is a 532 means you just take the 532. Here that you get a sympathetic nervous system. And now I'm happy to share with you all that we have the latest technology by our boss who has brought this vibronic system to India and spread across. We are making the base 336 cards. Base 336 cards. Even we have a whole set of base 336 cards. If someone is interested, I can share you that. So now sinuses. Now we have understood about this. Now let's
Sir,
go.
like base 336, can we also make CC combination cards?
Yes, we can make. I already made it.
Okay. Because that will be very, I would say, time will be consumed less because a lot of combinations together. And if we are using the card with the right intention, then it will be prepared quite faster. I mean, the remedies can be.
Exactly. I have already done it. It is on testing because I am testing it.
Okay.
If that numbers are working, that number card also should work. And one more, my invention, my own invention. It is now never in the world it was invented. Converting the card into the mgs, milligrams, 500 mg, yeah, 1000 mg or 750 mg. We can make the mg like any other, you can say ashwagandha. Ashwagandha we want 500 mg. Earlier it was not there. So how we can do this? I have started making the mg cards. On that basis, 500 mg will be written. And the same, how we have to make in our machine mg, last 2 digits, 4 and 3. Why 4 and 3? How this, we have to talk in a universal code. What are the universal code? Universal code are Kabbalic language. Universally accepted alphabet and a numeric conversion. Like 4 and 3, we are using the same, with that same technology I have used in the card for making the mg effect. And let us see when it is under testing. When I find it's very excellent, then I will share with you. Okay. Then, so next we have almost completed this. That my request is go in the deep. And we already, someone don't have the 108 combo numbers. I will share with you. And I think so we have taken a lot of time today. And I think we'll see some videos on the digestive system. Because digestive system, my stories will start. Because that's why I taken this thought infused water and pills. Why I taken permission from, MOA, I put into the government and I registered my organization because no one can question there is can you prove that you have put a thought into the water or pills there? No one can ask. If I say frequency is induced, what frequency? How that frequency is going to affect? Have you studied? Have you done research? Yeah, have anybody has done research? But thought infusion in water and pills been done since our ages. I told you many times. There are so many people. They are just by thought infusion, they are doing excellent job. Even 575710 is my first 336. Converted a rate. First rate which I converted in that's very long back. That I converted in the 1997. I was just telling with a Darbari combination, I mixed all the remedies for the loose motion because that is the only thing we can immediately come to know. All other things are, it will takes a lot of time. Whether the remedy works or not, we can immediately come to know. So that is the number is 5, 7, 5, 7, 10. 10 means all fully clockwise. If anybody having loose motion and just 5, 7, 5, 7, 10, keep it potency to 0, keep a glass of water and energize that water, and you will see just if they have loose motion, just they pass 1 or 2 times only. After that, it is totally cured. I can say it is cured because I have seen. And same way, again I tried whether is there any capacity, is there any power in that geometric pattern or this number only? Is there any secret in the number or in the number put in the machine? Then I thought, why see, keep on. I'm basically a researcher. Even my father scolds me. When a toy he used to give me, small, when I was very kid. So I used to, the highest technology was a spring car. When you just pull it back and it goes forward with sparkling things. Then, after 2 days, third day I used to break and see where this spark is coming from. So likewise, they have never scolded me. They grown me in such thing. So for that reason, you should always see. For that reason, I said they are also a human being like me. Why I can't make this combination? So I made a doused 5, 7, 5, 7, 10, and you see, you take a glass of water now. Just kept a hand. I kept a glass in left hand, and above that I close it, and I say 5, 7, 5, 7, 10, 5, 7, 5, 7, 10. If that, to repeat it around 11 times. One time is also sufficient, but I said 11 times. And it's found that even that is working. That's what I'm telling you. See, even without the machine, you can infuse the thought in water and pills. By understanding this only, I have taken the drug-based therapy. I have clearly mentioned I'm infusing water. I mean thought into water and pills. But now you say, why you using the machine and numbers? To have a consistency. Because see, 5, 7, 5, 7, 10. Only one remedy I have not added is a croton tig. It is in homeopathy. Croton tigericum is one of the remedy added in the loose motion combination, not added in the loose motion combination, and I deteriorate. But one day I suffered in such a heavy food poisoning and I was not able to, that 5757 did not work. Then I thought, why it is not working? It worked for everyone. It's almost 99, 95, more than 95% result. Why it is not working for me? Then I thought one remedy which is correctly matching to my present symptom is croton tig. Then I took croton tig made from the machine. Immediately, within 1 hour, my loose motion got stopped. So, see, that's what. When we get a disease, it's a very good opportunity to learn ourselves. We are the best. So when we become all right, then our confidence level will increase. And we start believing that in ourselves, our thoughts are so powerful. And that's why all thought converted into geometric pattern and numeric pattern. So with an intense thought, having all those ingredients in the combination, then they have derived one particular number. So, for example, ipecac, chalcedonium, you can see all this. While deriving this, what they have done, either they have taken that remedy itself. When you are holding that remedy, I did like that. I put the diarrhea, the Darbari combination. I added that time we used to get the Sharada pharmacy from Calcutta. that we are entry on. We used to get a wonderful medicine as an entry on. Yeah, homeopathic combination. I all added. With that again I did out the rate like that. Means either you can take the material so that you can make the all duplicate, means whatever that is there in this particular substance can be converted into a numerically coded thought or derive the rate, or you can say we can make the cards definitely. So yeah, you can also try. It's a very simple, but I have tried it on, I have made many strange combinations like getting the rain and elevating the rain, means bhagane ka, but many times it is successful, sometimes it is not, because the universal consciousness also has that overrules my wish. Sometimes it happens like that. And I'll give you one more one funny thing. So I made a code by that, in Karnataka BJP should have a maximum seat. Okay, then what happened, I took that thought and put into the stainless steel rod, and the tip of that I added one copper triangle like a trishul. Okay, then, and also with a laser I charged the ionosphere, saying that all should go, means maximum, that BJP should have a maximum win in the Karnataka. Then that time what happened, for that you should be very careful while framing the thought into code. That time what happened, BJP came into the highest number but did not form the government, because some other, those people, two other combined and become the highest number. So this is what you can, once you can call it as a universal consciousness ka wish hoga, otherwise what you designed is wrong. How we should have done it, not winning, that is final goal is what they should form the government. So likewise we must have thought, okay, in Karnataka this particular election, that BJP should form the government, like that we should have thought. Instead I thought just having the maximum seat, it failed. So like that, why I told you, I'm telling you in this context is how energy can be converted, how this any energy can be converted into a geometrical pattern or a numeric pattern. Okay, through what? Subconscious mind. Subconscious mind, what? Again connected to the universal conscious mind. And universal consciousness is also called in a Paramatman also you can call. See, you have to forget yourself. How we can do it best is, forget yourself that you are holding a pendulum. Forget yourself that you are connect to the source. Just say I'm connecting to the source. Source, Aham Brahmasmi. You can call at that particular time. See, Shankaracharya, even though Aham Brahmasmi he told, but he built many temples. So there's a controversy. People say that if he says Aham Brahmasmi, why he made a Sharada temple? He is a devotee. He's a Sharada Devi was the devotee is Shankaracharya. So like that. So you have to connect to the source. Then the wherever the pendulum goes, it is the superpowers wish. Think that like that and convert to any number like that. Only all these 108 combos are converted by me for some person in Pune. So he said, no, I can't do this. You make a simple one, this one. So there are so many other things what he told. If I tell now, it will not be digested by many people, because we are dealing with a spiritual energy. We are dealing with a spiritual energy. Okay. So now I think it is now almost 12:30, 12:40. So I think so. Anything else you want me to cover in this lungs section? I mean respiratory section. Okay, here we'll went because today we are sharply started with but 10 o'clock only, and even our Zoom rendering also will be too late. We'll next time we will discuss about this, because if I start now, it will be late. Still, so we'll take a digestive system in the next. Even though I have collected everything, the respiratory system is a most alarming. Means we all worry. Even children, if a small children we have, they become breathlessness. Every mother will worry. It is like that only. So, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Next time we will take the digestive
Digestive
system.
system.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
that's fine. Thank you. If you have any doubt on the respiratory system, how we can see, we came to know about a lot about the respiratory system. If now we generally as a lay, we can say we think that only lungs are responsible for the respiratory system. Now we have seen everything is connected, muscles are connected, and skeletal systems are connected, because of ribs are the skeletal system, comes under skeletal system, muscular system, nervous system, and circulatory system. All these systems are connected for a they are connected in working in the respiratory system. So we have to think all about. See, you just I'm telling you, you just study this combination. This combination, when you study, I will be giving you this, and you are already. I have the Spanish 108 combo well arranged. I will send you that, but with that you will be able to generalize and ask. I told you, you should always ask why. Like here in the SR 247 triple Warmer meridian. Why triple Warmer meridian is taken here in the respiratory system, or you can say this bronchitis. This is the bronchitis. This one. So where ECAC, 3X, and general fever and everything is taken here. Ruby, aconite, this is all we have. You should ask why and all. I will send you a common materia medica, homeopathic materia medica. Wherever we find the homeopathic remedies here, we can go there and go into the respiratory system and read. And don't see what is not there. You see what is there in that. Oh, this symptom is not there with me, so it doesn't suit me. No, I will tell you. Okay, we have some more minutes. I will tell you how homeopathy medicines are derived. I already told you in the previous my sessions that when you want to be awake, that time what we do? We take a coffee. We want to study at late night. What we do? We take a strong coffee. So to that time, what it does? Coffee makes our sensory system strong. That will not make us to relax. It will become sharp. So likewise, so if someone want to is sharp and awake and fully aware, even when he is supposed to sleep, that time we are giving coffee only in the smallest dose. Okay, this I think so tomorrow, because next time is that digestive system is a very small chapter, though it controls the primary for all the disease. I will take the homeopathic part. Homeopathy, how homeopathy is derived, because we are following the law of similars. So I will tell you how that homeopathic dilutions are done. What is there are marking on your machine X and C and LM. What is it? How it is derived? Very interesting one. But and what are the globule number? We call globule 30 to 30, 40 number size. How that is done? I will all discuss in the next this one next session. Okay. Then anybody have suggestion something?
Sir, by next sessions, can we split the sessions morning and evening, or reduce the schedule to 1.5 hours, like that?
That will take. That will be taken. That will take. And you advise. You said what are the timing you advise. You can be. This one will take like that. Even there was a complaint from my side also.
Yes,
Our
sir.
people, they don't, these 3 hours is too long. We have to break into two. Definitely we'll do. Next time we will do 1.5 hours. We'll take. We talk about the digestive system, and another one and a
Yes,
half
sir.
hours
Yes.
about the background of homeopathy. Homeopathic
Right.
principle. Why? Because our all this vibronics works on the homeopathic principle. We will also take
Yes.
some important how it is derived, and then many batch remedies. What are the batch remedies? What are the batch bowel remedies? We will talk in the next session. Okay. Thank you very
Yes, sir.
much.
Yes. Yes.
We will end here. So even our rendering is taking a lot of time. Other for that reason, I am unable to share you. So rendering is taking 4 to 5 hours in the Zoom. After that only it is coming out as a recorded video. So I will share as
Yes,
and
sir.
when we get completed that video completes, we will share. And if someone has suppose to next session will be about homeopathy and digestive system. If someone want to know specifically something, you can, if you tell me in advance, so that I will specially pick up those areas. And already is there, because we go in the like a 4.1, 4.2, 4.3, and 4.4, 4.5. All four series are the digestive thing. When we go into the combination, we will definitely catch many things there. Constipation, loose motion, they are a major issue. And digestion, acidity and gastric problem on those things are, and liver. Liver comes under the digestive system. And also the circulatory system. Because the toxins are purified there only. So anyway, we'll talk that. Please you ask me anything I know I should not forget in my session. So that I will definitely either I will add a video or some paragraph on that particular subject.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, thank you, thank you all. Okay, I will send you as and when that the video is ready. I will share with you, and we'll break into 1.5 and 1.5. Okay, we'll
Yes,
ask
sir. Yes.
timing.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank
Okay,
you.
sir. Okay.